Hey, this is Emily. That
It's
right
Siouxsie.
there. That's right. And we are Dead Sara, and you're hanging out with Rob on Front Row Live.
It's been such a long time since we last collaborated or spoken. I feel like it was Warped Tour, actually, to be completely honest. Um,
Whoa,
and Front Row Live had
dude.
not existed yet. I was still under my original channel, Punk Videos Rock. So it's been a very long
Yeah.
time.
Very long time.
Damn.
So exciting that there's new music happening. Earlier back in March, you guys teased us a little bit, announcing that new music was on the way. And then just last week, you guys released Hands Up, and it's incredible. Like the Dead Sara sound is
Yeah.
just like amazing every time I hear it. And I'm still listening to your previous records constantly.
Yeah.
So, talk to me about Hands Up and like the creative process of this new track.
Well, it was just something that was not really thought. It was just done so quickly, you know? It was just a couple riffs, that were kind of just spliced together. And when everybody just kind of started playing it, it was the lyrics flow. Like the lyrics just spewed out. And it was literally like, cool, we know what the song's like about. We got a skeleton of a song here. Here we go. You know what I mean? And it took like a day, maybe 2 days to kind of figure out exactly the structure of the song. And then from there, it was put in the hands of our producer, uh, um, Noah Shane, from our two actual albums, not the EP. Basically, we put it into the hands of Noah, and then we just started pre-proing it, basically trying to get every moment to really sound good. And while we were doing that, we were still trying to figure out, like, is the bridge melody still great? Like, so the writing wasn't completely done, but it basically was, like the full concept was there. Just like really putting on those fine touches that's going to make something greater. So that part took a lot longer, and when I say a lot longer, like a week to two
Yeah.
weeks, and then it was just like, cool, it's done. Like, that was easy, that was fast, and that's basically that.
And it's cool that Sean, your drummer, was also a part of the production process. Like, is this the first time that you guys actually had like a band member being part producer at the same time during the recording process?
I mean, we kind of all like have our own little production ideas when we would record with Noah, but this is the first time Sean like took the reins and engineered everything. Like we recorded in our rehearsal space for a lot of these
Yeah.
songs, and Sean was like really like co-producing with Noah.
I mean, even as far back as the EP, like we did these demos like on our own to kind of fully conceptualize what it was that we were striving for before getting into the hands of somebody else,
Yeah.
producer or anything. And I remember saying and being like, we want Sean to co-produce on this EP. And then I got such big backlash at the time of who our manager was at the time and the guy that we were producing with. It was just like, why? And it was weird to me being like, this guy is literally helping us create, like he's at the forefront, putting in the extra time on having it sound the way that we all visualize as a band. So coming into this next cycle, which is this album right now that we're working on, which includes Hands Up, we were already in that, like, this is who we are, we're figuring it out. Like, it's in the rehearsal space, we're recording it on our own, and we get to manipulate any way that we want to and redo certain things to get it to really sound the way that we want it. And that's like first thing that Noah came in with this, coming back on this third EP or this third album. He was just like, you guys got something special going on. Like, he understood right away. It was like, fucking Sean's on it, you know what I mean? And even Warner too was like, you know what, like, we want to help you guys. Like, what could we get you guys to have and record in your space to start recording? And that's basically us doing the record now, Noah's just really being that dude that's just gonna like the guy with all the professionalism, like, you know, he's done this many times. He's gonna help us kind of, you know, with any questions, and he obviously is the overseer of it all, you know, like this doesn't hit right, this doesn't do, you know, obviously he's the producer. But us doing the initial work to a place where we know we can't do any better, we need some help.
Right.
Sorry, Scooter.
And the fact that Noah's been with you guys, I mean, he's practically a member of the band. So the fact that he's been with you guys since the beginning with the debut album and until now, like how different is that chemistry now? Like, and how has he challenged you guys a little bit more? Siouxsie, for example, like how are you feeling challenged with your guitar on this record?
I mean, Noah always challenges you. He always makes you step up as a musician regardless. And now this whole album's been a little different. He's just been a little bit more like have fun, like get wacky, throw like record as much weird shit as you want, and then he'll have like that will spark ideas for him and mix it, and it'll kind of go like that. But he's really just been like have fun, but in pre-production it's like play it and play it and play it and know every single part and know all of Emily's parts and Emily know everyone else's parts. And he's like, you need to know the songs like thoroughly, because we haven't like been able to just tour. Like normally we'll write a song, we'll play it on tour a bunch and we'll kind of shake off rust. Now we're just in the rehearsal room. So he's been really adamant about playing the songs a million times over, which is tiring.
It sounds like he's like training you guys like all over again. And how different or how challenging is it that you're going into the studio without really rehearsing these songs on tour? Because you're right, and I didn't even think about this before, like, you know, usually artists like to test these songs on the road before they actually go into the recording process. So how challenging has that been for you guys?
Well, the first few that we have done right now, we played a handful of shows with them, and Hands Up obviously got a lot of great feedback, and all of them did. Now the next batch is going to be a little different because we haven't really played them. So that's next week's boot camp, is really getting them dialed in as a band, and then Noah will come in and start doing his, you know, magic sauce.
So Emily, I don't know how you're going to feel about this one, but I feel like your screams are just so iconic. So like that's the Dead Sara sound. Like one of the things that I loved was your screams throughout, you know, from the beginning to now. How are you able to still preserve that scream that you do? And, you know, it just sounds incredible within each record, within each track. Like, how do you preserve that?
I don't preserve it. I just do it. Why preserve it? You know, do it till you can't anymore, you know? And I don't think that I'll, you know, maybe when I'm 60, I won't do it anymore, but I don't see myself slowing down or holding back anytime soon. Give it all you got right now, because tomorrow's not promised.
That's a good point. That's a good point. When you guys are writing music, do you have those in mind already, or do those screams kind of come naturally as you're in the recording process or even in the rehearsal process?
Rehearsal. It's definitely natural, you know, because every day has different energy, and, you know, you're going over the same song over and over and over. So some days will just hit differently. Like I find like a certain, you know, Siouxsie's just playing a little bit differently that day. And then that just tips me over the edge in a way where I'm like even more inspired. And then it will just like certain parts will just kind of like come out a little bit more, you know what I mean? Because I'm tested a little bit more, you know, and like how far could we go? You know, how could we make it more exciting and more? So it's like we're playing more as like a band, you know, kind of pushing each other in a little bit. Not pushing each other's buttons, but like, where could we go? You know, like how do we find more to the song by playing certain things or just changing up a little bit of something. So it could happen at the end of the process where I'm screaming at the bloody murder at the end, you know what I mean? But it's all that like kinking, like getting all those kinks out a little bit in order for it to really flow, you know, like when you turn on that song, it has to be full flow, you know, like this is going to hit you when it comes out the other end. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
I don't know where I'm going with that, but yeah.
I've noticed a lot, like especially with these, when we started rehearsing the songs a lot, like when you first play it, you're like, wow, this is so magical and inspiring. And then it's like drill in the song, get really good. And then there's kind of a lull period where we're all just like really trying to fine tune and play everything and not have to think about it. And then once we passed that, the song, like the band is so much stronger that Emily like doesn't have to think about any, like, is the band up here or does that feel good? Then she all of a sudden just like shines and like
Right.
all the shit just starts flowing out of her.
Yeah, that's so right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm curious what those first rehearsal sessions are like, just because when I'm listening to the records and then when I watch you guys live, like I get that same, like, you know, pounding to the wall type of energy. So like, what is that like when you guys are first kind of testing out that song before it gets to be what we listen to today?
I'm trying to remember.
Well, it's always just kind of like, it gets really exciting. You know, it's very exciting because we don't know what's about to happen because those rehearsals are writing. So it's kind of like everybody's on the same page, but at the same time, we don't know what anybody's going to do. We don't know what I'm going to say. I don't know what I'm going to sing. I don't know if I'm going to start screaming at one point or we're going to take it down. And then we just kind of feel, and that is the chemistry of being in a band. You know, so it's more exciting than it is like we know exactly what we're doing. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna write down the middle. We're gonna just, you know, it's gonna feel completely just like a rock solid song. It's not like that. It's loose as shit, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something great about that. It's very raw, in that we try at the end, after all its, you know, process of getting it to the recording process, we try to keep that first, you know, spark in there, like when we just started writing it, because there is something magical about that. And we always try to keep that, like, what was the demo feel like? And obviously it's hard to recreate what the demo is, because it was literally just like, it's always lightning in a bottle, or it's just like, it's just what was captured is what's captured, you know. And then having that inspiration to then finish the song, you want to finish the song as quickly as possible so it doesn't get lost, you know, if that makes any sense.
Totally.
No, it does. It does. And, you know, the fact that you guys, we mentioned earlier, it's been 3 years since new music kind of happened. So when did the writing process for this third album begin with you guys?
About
At least 2 years ago. Oh wait, the whole writing process of it?
Like, when did you know you were starting to write for album 3?
Oh, I see. But yeah, like a year, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we were just like, this is what we're gonna do. It's not an EP. It's not.
Yeah.
I think it's like when Warner
bit-
kind of took us under the wing.
Yeah. Maybe a little more than a year, because this year just went by.
Yeah, you're right. Actually,
Yeah.
I would say almost 2 years. 2 years.
Yeah.
Where does the time go?
So from that point on, from that point till now, like, did the initial idea that you guys had for this album, is it still the same, or has it kind of changed or warped to something completely different?
It's still in the mix right now. We're still working out, but I think it's staying on the initial path that we were intending, but new things are definitely popping up. And I'm sure there's going to be more stuff that we don't even think about that's going to emerge. There's always like a song or two that last minute makes it on the album. It's just like some random jam song, and we're like, we need to put this on there.
Yeah. Just kind of like For You I Am on the second album.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a stream of consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
No real chorus. We're just like, it's great. Let's put it on. You know, don't overthink it.
Yeah.
Just make it happen.
Yeah.
Mona Lisa, we wrote in pre-production.
Wow.
That's right.
Yeah.
So shit like that, could just, you know, as long as we're all on the same page and shit like that happens, we'll be like, we'll know right away, like, we need to finish this one.
Yeah.
That's
or
crazy,
like,
because
we can
Mona
wait.
Lisa is like a favorite. Yeah.
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 That's crazy, because Mona Lisa is like a favorite for a lot of people, including myself.
Yep.
And it's like, I can't imagine that not existing.
I know.
Exactly.
I think Lemon Scent was like that on the first album too, right? It was kind of a hodgepodge.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
It's been so long.
That's my dog.
Charlotte.
So
Sorry.
as far as like album 3, who is Dead Sara on album 3 compared to your sophomore album, Pleasure to Meet You?
More DIY, I think. More
Nice.
understanding who we are, and hardworking in a different vein, you know, like in the more of a songwriting and getting to know our craft more, you know, and pushing each other really hard and not relying on anybody, you know, not like at the end being like, it's gonna sound good in the mix. It's like, no. It's gotta sound good now. It's gotta have a full concept to it now. And so you'll hear it, you'll feel the integrity more so on this album, I think. Obviously, we've always had integrity on every album, you know, maybe not as much on, you know, the EP where we kind of went off and did a lot of writers and stuff like that. But I think that solidified us even more so on this next album. Like, holy shit, like we've learned our lesson. Like we need to just do the work, you know, if we want it to sound as big and, you know, powerful as these other albums that we love to listen to.
Right.
Totally.
You kind of read my mind with the writers on the EP, just because like out of curiosity, how did that kind of play a role with the new music today? How did, you know, working or collaborating with other writers impact the way that you kind of write today for this album?
Well, when you have people around you that give you advice to, you know, take it to the next level, and this is what we think you should do, and you just like, you know, at this point you're just like, I would love to try anything, you know, and that's basically what we did. We were just like, you know what, like it's a good time to just kind of revamp and just kind of see what we want to do and how we want to sound. It was like that kind of a thing, you know, and especially when it's like, you know, somebody telling you to do that and you kind of believe it and then you go down it and it's like, cool. You definitely, I learned so much with writers and stuff. I will never want to take that away. But it was just, by the end of it all, it was just like, wait, like this is not who we are, you know, obviously. But I think we had to go through that in order to really
know what works and what doesn't.
Yeah. You know, like to really understand completely what we're doing is the correct thing to do.
Yeah.
Right. And now with this record, you have Warner under your belt. So like, how did this happen for you guys? And what was it about Warner that really made you guys want to say yes to teaming up with them?
Well, it's Morris. He's been our buddy for a long time. He used to work at Atlantic. And then he went over to Warner, and we trust him, you know, like it's an industry full of you know, not so good people. So you want to stick with the people that have always had your back. And he basically was like, hey man, like you have a chance to be on Warner, but you have to show that you're, you know, worthy, you know, of, you know, being the band that you want to be. You have to completely make it clear to them by the songs that you write, you know, and where you want to be. And if it's a good fit, they'll let you know, you know what I mean? And you'll know too, if it's a good fit, you know, it's, you know, if some people want to change you, you know, like, great, you guys are a great band, but hey, we want you to write with this and this and this. And it's like, okay, cool. Like, it's not going to work out. So we worked really hard, and they helped us, you know, give us some money to do some demos and stuff. And we worked really hard with Noah, and we showed them a few songs, and they were like, awesome. We get it, you know, like, let's do this, you know, and we don't want to let them down. We want to keep writing, and that's what we do, you know, and we're still continuing. And I finally have a song out, you know, one song, and they were totally down with us releasing it, and before the album's even done. And obviously it's a little bit like, well, now you got to finish the album now, you know, which is fun,
on.
you know. Yeah. And it's great, you know, we're gonna work that much harder.
Right. But I mean, the wait was worth it. If Hands Up is whoa, if Hands Up is like a definition of what this album is going to sound like I cannot wait, just because, like, again, I've said it from the beginning, like Dead Sara has never disappointed. So like I'm really excited for this record.
Fuck
But
yeah,
you know,
dude.
and I'm excited that now there is this major label, just because like I feel like there was a time where I was just like, why aren't more people listening to Dead Sara? Why, you know, I feel like you guys need to be out more around the world than just here in the
Yeah.
States.
I agree 100%. We've literally been saying that for the past,
Mhm.
what, 8 years?
Yeah.
So
At least.
hopefully, you know, we write songs that will get us around the world, you know, that'll
Yeah.
fly us around and do shows. Like that's a dream of ours for sure.
Mhm.
So you guys are still in the studio recording and writing the album. So is this for sure probably something for 2021?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay. And then lastly, what has been the biggest challenge in the creative process for this record, aside from what's going on around the world right now?
I think initially it was figuring out how to record like professionally in our studio. We first had to like, we're doing it tracking from home, and then that didn't really work, and like sending files, and it was getting confusing. But once we were just like, let's just go to our rehearsal room and do it, and we got the gear, then it's just kind of started to smooth out. It's become like we're in that groove.
Yeah.
But at first it was a little confusing.
Oh my God. Especially for me, because I'm just not like tech savvy. Like I am not that person. I'm more of a viber, you know, like I'll just be there and I'll fucking throw shit like, oh, you want a melody? You want a fucking lyric? Let's do this. And oh, that doesn't feel, you know? And so for me to like sit there and be like, press record and listen to Sean, like everybody's take and record it. Like I need that no, that sounds good, but like you just it's cracking a little bit. Let's like take down this, and I'm like, I don't know what those things mean. I don't know where those knobs are. It's not a knob. It's like a click on a goddamn computer, and my computer's out of date, so it can't even download certain things. And I'm like, this is a fucking nightmare, you know. So Sean now records me every time, and it's so much greater. It's so because I'm way more of a collaborative like artist, you know. I love to have people around me, and I love it, you know.
Collaborating alone was really weird.
Oh,
it was so
mind numbing. Yeah.
There's like no vibe, and you're just like looking at a screen, and it was like,
yeah. And Warner was like, you know, you don't have to sit in your room and do individual takes, you know, like you could still just like go with Sean and just two people, you know, like we figured it out. But
yeah.
Oh my God, thank you so much.
Yeah.
We took it a little too literal, you know.
Yeah.
We tried, you know, because we were
Well,
like, oh, we're down.
You had to do your part. You got to be safe, and you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait for this album, and I'm so excited that you know you guys are back, and excited to reunite with you guys, and I look forward to doing this again soon, and hopefully it'll be in person.
Yes.
Bob, thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you both.
We'll see you on the road.
Bye.